Ladies and gents, from Blue Reaction, and this is How Big Do Tsunamis Get by the channel RealLifeLore. Yeah, tsunamis, I think, the biggest one I know of is in Indian tsunami, I think. I don't know if that was the biggest one or not, but I think lots of people died there. Obviously, Japan one and Indian one, that's the two I know of. There are footage of Japan one, I think, where there's also footage of India, but I remember watching a Japan tsunami footage where literally the cars were basically all getting I guess ripped away from the places left and right, and just water was coming like it was just ridiculous. But yeah, I don't think there is any video seen of an actual tsunami wave coming, big gigantic tsunami coming. So, that's just terrifying to think, because I think Indian tsunami I saw a lot of in the news, it was getting covered, and I think it was about 100 or so feet high. Was it 100 meters? I think it was 100 feet, right? Yeah. So 100 feet high, and it was really wide. That was just ridiculous. So yeah, that's just, earthquake and things like that causes that. But one thing I know that Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about it a lot, that an asteroid that is coming, that's gonna maybe will collide in 2036, and there's a very slim chance, but maybe it might collide. So when it collides, it's gonna create a massive 300 plus meter wide tsunami, and probably extremely high too. I don't know the height, but extremely high too. Basically, it will create a tsunami 40 times over, like 40 waves of tsunamis that will basically wipe out the east coast of the USA, Florida, and every all the places at the coast, I guess. So I think Miami is screwed too. I don't know, sure, but yeah, Florida, so Miami is screwed too. Who knows? So if it hits the ocean, if we don't deflect it, that's what's going to happen. So I feel like asteroid would create the biggest tsunami there is, but who knows? RealLifeLore is a great channel. I've created quite a few videos from this channel already. If you haven't seen them, check out the cards. There's a playlist I created for it. RealLifeLore reactions, something like that. Check out other cards too, like CGB Grey reaction, Kusgasat reaction, Internet Historian, all sarcastic production, things like that. And yeah, let's watch this one.
Tsunamis are some of the most powerful and deadliest forces of nature. Within recent memory, you may recall both the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami and 2011 Japan tsunami, both of which resulted in catastrophic...
Yeah, okay, that's why I saw Japan one, because it was kind of recent, and I think it has more videos of it than any other, because I remember seeing some kind of a, barge type thing, and then it breaking away when the massive wave of water comes, and that's the thing. There's a video of this. There's basically a wall type thing here, and suddenly water rises and it just runs down. There are people here, and I guess in cars trying to panic and run away. It's just ridiculous to see this.
Damage and loss of life. The Indian Ocean tsunami happened after a massive earthquake struck here in the Indian Ocean. The earthquake itself released more energy than every single explosive detonated in the entire Second World War, including the nuclear bombs. This enormous amount of energy created a tsunami that reached heights of 30 meters high in some places, or about...
It is 100 feet, not 100 meter. Damn, 100 meter is 3 times as big. It is 100 feet.
Height of 17 people stacked on top of each other. The wave smashed into Indonesia, South Asia, and the east coast of Africa, punching as deep as 2 kilometers inland from the coast in some places. As you can see from photos like this one, the damage in these places was often extensive. The tragedy claimed the lives of around 250,000 people, making it the deadliest tsunami in all of history, while the 2011 Japan tsunami was the costliest in terms of damage. That tsunami was also generated by an earthquake that created waves as high as 40.5 meters, just about 5 meters shorter than the Statue of Liberty, that came slamming into the Japanese east coast, traveling up to 10 kilometers inland away from the coast. As you can see from photos like this that look like something straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster, with what used to be a road stretching out into the endless ocean, the economic cost to Japan was enormous. An estimated $300 billion in damages was done, more than the entire GDP of South Africa. But these are what are called regular tsunamis, and there is an entire other class of gigantic waves that are simply called mega-tsunamis. Unlike a regular tsunami that is created by an earthquake, a mega-tsunami is usually created when a massive amount of material suddenly falls into water, which displaces that water into a huge wave. The most tragic and possibly terrifying instance of this happening in recent times was back in 1963 here in Italy, just 100 kilometers north of Venice. The Italian government and a construction company were building what at the time was going to be the largest dam on Earth. The only problem was that they were building this dam with a huge water reservoir the size of a large lake right next to one of the most unstable mountains on the planet. For months leading up to the completion of the dam, there were several minor landslides and other signs that there could be a catastrophe coming, but rather than heed the numerous warning signs, the Italian government actually decided to sue the few journalists reporting on the issue for, quote, undermining the social order. The government and company continued to ignore all the warning
Now basically, hey, look at the wise guys over here. All the suits and the hats.
signs until it was obvious that the mountain was actually going to collapse directly into the dam's reservoir. The engineers calculated the landslide that would likely occur, lowered the water in the reservoir to what they believed was a safe level, and then actually stood on top of the dam the night that they expected the landslide to occur to watch it all go down. The only problem was, the landslide ended up being over 10 times more powerful than what their calculations had predicted. This is a view of that mountain today. This right here used to be the reservoir, and all the land that's there now came crashing off the mountain from these areas that are now exposed white rock. This tremendous amount of earth and rock fell into the reservoir in a matter of seconds, completely filled the entire reservoir, and generated a wave 250 meters high that flew over the top of the dam and into the villages below. The wave was almost the same height as the Transamerica building in San Francisco for some reference, and caused an impact crater.
Damn, that's just some landslide did that. 300 meters high. So what if the asteroid hits the ocean? How high the tsunami is going to be then? That's just ridiculous.
60 meters deep and 80 meters wide when it slammed into the ground on the other side of the dam.
80 meters. So Neil deGrasse Tyson says the Apophis, if it hits, it's going to be over 300 meters wide. So that could give us idea. It's like it's going to be like I guess 200 or so meter, I guess, high at least. Damn, this is ridiculous.
If you were standing from this angle looking up at the dam at the exact moment that the wave came over it, the entire sky that you see in this picture would be completely covered by water.
God damn, that's a terrifying sight.
Longarone, which before the mega tsunami looked like this, but afterwards looked like this, completely destroyed. Around 2,000 people.
No, what the fuck?
This, but afterwards looked like this.
Completely wiped out, man.
Completely destroyed. Around 2,000 people lost their lives in the accident, but it's not actually the largest mega tsunami even in recent history. That distinction would have to go to a mega tsunami that happened here in Lituya Bay, Alaska back in 1958. A powerful earthquake caused a massive landslide to occur here at the backside of the bay. The huge amount of land that came crashing into the bay created a titanic wave 525 meters high that slammed into this part of the bay, completely went over it and smashed into the other side here, causing huge amounts of damage to the rest of the bay and destroying millions of trees. The height of this wave was over 100 meters higher than the tip of the Empire State Building.
Alright, that's it. If the landslide could create 500 meters high, I'm pretty sure if a Apophis hits, it's gonna be much higher than that. That's just ridiculous.
Just 16 meters short of the recently built One World Trade Center in New York City. But even this is tiny in comparison to some prehistoric mega tsunamis. The largest tsunami generated from a landslide happened around 1.5 million years ago in Hawaii, on the Pacific island of Molokai. At some point around that time, about 1/3 of the northern portion of the volcano collapsed into the ocean and generated a wave 600 meters high, which would have completely inundated the entire island of Molokai and wreaked havoc on the rest of the island chain. This wave would have been about the height of 4 Great Pyramids of Giza stacked on top of each other, but even that pales in comparison to the largest ever known mega tsunami, which was caused by an asteroid. About 66 million years ago, the same asteroid that likely killed the dinosaurs also caused possibly the largest mega tsunami in all of Earth's history when it crashed into the modern-day Gulf of Mexico. The asteroid was 10 kilometers in diameter and released an unbelievable 100 teratons of TNT worth of energy. For comparison, the Tsar Bomba, which is the largest nuclear bomb ever detonated, released only 1/2 millionth of that same amount of energy. You would need 2 million Tsar bombs.
Yeah, see, this is the kind of stats, it's like, we don't need these stats, alright? And this makes no difference because it's still, we can't comprehend these numbers. All right, 100 teratons, that's just way too much. We know that asteroid that killed dinosaur generated ridiculous amount of energy that we can't process. Comparing that to Tsar Bomba is just stupid. We're not going to comprehend that.
To release this same amount of energy, which caused an equally unbelievable wave of up to 5 kilometers high that would have smashed into the Gulf Coast states of the modern-day United States. That's higher than the Matterhorn in the Alps, by about 500 extra meters. In fact, the height is higher than all of the mountains in the entire Alpine mountain range. These waves were so big that if they were to have happened in the Indian Ocean, the entire island of Madagascar would have been completely submerged underwater for a time. Imagine being on an island the size of Madagascar in this scenario, with absolutely no escape from the clutches of the ocean's waves no matter how high on the land that you can get to. It's a weird thought, but at least it happened 66 million years ago, and there's really no fear of something like that ever happening again, right? Unless the 0.00001% chance of one of the Canary Islands collapsing into the ocean during your lifetime happens, which would cause a tsunami about 1 kilometer high and would probably wipe out the entire east coast of the United States. Unless that happens, then no, probably not. But it's still fun to think about.
Dude, why didn't you acknowledge Apophis? I mean, that's one of the most famous thing of the future. Like, an asteroid is coming in 2036. Apophis, everybody knows this. You know, I've seen ridiculous amount of videos and, you know, scientists talking about it. It's gonna hit somewhere here, I think. I'm not so sure where it's gonna hit. But yeah, it's Apophis is gonna hit that, and it's probably gonna create a kilometer tall tsunami. Because it's not that small, it's big enough rock.
Unless that happens, then no, probably not. But it's still fun to think about. This video has been brought to you by Audible.com.
I won't say fun, but yeah, okay. Yeah, people, go to audible.com/RealLifeLore and support this channel. This is a great channel. RealLifeLore is just, you know, basically throw stats at you. It's just, yeah, it's just awesome. Tsunamis, they are just ridiculous, isn't it? I'm just trying to imagine that tall. First of all, 100 feet high tsunami coming towards you. That's terrifying to begin with already, the Indian tsunami thing. But then 100-meter tall, 500-meter, a kilometer tall. Then what was that, 5-kilometer tall millions of years ago? That's just ridiculous. Like a mountain of type of water slowly coming towards you like that from the distance. That's like, you know, end of the world type of scenario. You would see that and you're like, oh, that's it, world is ending now. That's just ridiculous. Alright people, that was how big do tsunamis get. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the reaction I did. There's a link in the description. Check out the cards for the playlist. Check out the end cards, and I'll see you next time.